A look back at Android's first 15 years. The first Android phone was released in September 2008, and the operating system has since grown to become the world's most popular mobile platform. The first Android smartphone was released in 2008. It has since grown to become one of the most recognizable names in the technology business, with billions of customers worldwide. Android software can be found in some of the top phones, tablets, and TVs on the market today. But things haven't always been smooth sailing. So, let's take a look back at Android's last 15 years, including its highs, lows, and other pivotal moments. The very first Android phone. Although it may appear that cell phones have been around for decades, the first Android smartphone was released only 15 years ago. The HTC Dream, also known as the T-Mobile G1 in the United States and portions of Europe, was announced on September 23, 2008. A month later, it went on sale. The build-up to the phone's unveiling was fraught with anticipation. Apple had released its first iPhone a year before, but cell phones were still relatively new to the general public. So every forthcoming release became a heated topic of discussion. The HTC Dream had a tactile keyboard, a 3.15 megapixel camera, a 3.2-inch display, and a 320 by 480 pixel resolution. These specifications may appear silly in comparison to today's powerful smartphones. However, possessing an HTC Dream in 2008 meant you possessed one of the most cutting-edge phones on the market. LG and Motorola quickly followed suit with their own releases. The HTC Magic, the Dream's replacement, was released in June 2009. Following this was a lengthy line of increasingly capable smartphones. Yet the HTC Dream remains Android's first smartphone and marks a watershed moment in history. The very first Android update. The first Android operating system upgrade, Android 1.1, was published in February 2009, just a few months after the HTC Dream was released. 1.1 was initially available just for the HTC Dream, the only Android smartphone on the market at the time. This update included a few bug patches, an API change, camera filters, and a few other useful enhancements. In April 2009, Android 1.5, often known as Android Cupcake, was released as a follow-up to Android 1.1. Up until the release of Android 5.0 Lollipop in 2015, new Android versions were released numerous times per year. Android 10 was the first to lack an official candy-themed nickname. Android 14 will be released in September 2023. The first Samsung phone. Samsung is unquestionably the most popular brand of Android handsets. The firm entered the smartphone industry 40 years after it was formed. In April 2009, the Samsung Galaxy was the first smartphone to feature a 5-megapixel camera and a 3.2-inch display, with a resolution of 320 by 480 pixels. It was followed a year later by the first Galaxy S smartphone, which featured a larger 4-inch display and software that led to the business being sued by Apple for several patent and trademark infringements. Samsung is not the sole manufacturer of Android smartphones. Between 2008 and 2014, many other brands debuted their flagship Android devices. Some of these examples include LG G620, 2009, Motorola Droid, 2009, Google Nexus 1, 2010, Xiaomi Mi 1, 2011, Oppo N1, 2013, OnePlus 1, 2014. However, Samsung has remained at the top of the Android smartphone game for some years, and it doesn't look like that'll be changing anytime soon. The first Android tablets. Apple released the first iPad in January 2010, and a year later, a tablet-optimized version of Android called Honeycomb was released, along with the first tablet, the Motorola Xoom. However, it received mixed reviews, and it took another 2 years for the Google Nexus 7 to become the first truly popular Android tablet. The Nexus 7 was a tiny tablet featuring a 1.2 megapixel camera and a 7-inch 800 by 1280 pixel screen. Bluetooth and GPS were also included. Furthermore, it costs roughly $200, which is a fraction of the price of current tablets. The tablet was warmly received upon its release, and it quickly became a favorite among fans. Android's biggest mistakes. While there has been a long list of amazing Android devices introduced over the years, not all of them have been a success. With every few outstanding releases, there will inevitably be a few duds, and Android is no stranger to mediocre items. Let's look at some famous cases. Many large corporations, like Amazon, have attempted and failed in the smartphone business. The company has had tremendous success in the e-commerce industry, but its smartphone effort did not fare as well. It released the Fire Phone in July of 2014. People could choose from a vast list of excellent phones at the time, including the iPhone 6 and Samsung Galaxy S5. So Amazon needed to impress the market if its phone was to succeed. It didn't work. The Fire Phone was not only overpriced for what it offered, but it also featured restricted functionality and an app store. Amazon discontinued the Fire Phone in August 2015 and has not introduced another smartphone since. The most important Android hacks. There is almost certainly no smartphone company that has not experienced hackers and fraud at some point. Android has been the target of numerous attacks throughout the years, whether through operating systems, browsers, or apps. Over 1 million Android users were attacked in 2021 by 29 malicious apps that made infected devices appear to be smart TVs when they were not. With this bogus identity, thieves may deliver billions of ad requests per week, with the revenue going directly to malicious operators. Cybercriminals have already abused the Play Store, which provides customers with millions of Android apps. Google is constantly working to remove illegal apps from the Play Store, but this is a massive effort, and many illicit programs remain undetected. Android apps are also frequently targeted by zero-day exploits. Google, for example, routinely announces the presence of vulnerabilities in the Chrome browser. In 2021, a North Korean hacking squad exploited one that caused crashes and could be used to run malicious malware. Android is still vulnerable to cybersecurity threats. In May 2023, it was discovered that the Lemon Group's cybercriminal operation had pre-infected over 9 million Android smartphones, smart TVs, and smart watches with the Gorilla malware strain, which was used to steal passwords, set up reverse proxies, and deploy even more malicious payloads. Android's future appears to be bright. In the previous 15 years, Android has come a long way. It competes with iOS and has powering some of the best devices we've seen. The next 15 years are expected to offer even more innovation, with new form factors and the arrival of generative AI making the platform and the phones that run on it more powerful than ever.